go ahead and do a little review of what's going to be.
Yeah.
Review's good.
Yes, please.
Okay. Body mechanics is a definite, you know, there's several questions on body mechanics and, you know, transfers, things like that, from that first lab that we had, okay? That's Fairchild Chapter 4. There are some core value questions, ethical questions. Remember those the terminology. Several questions are on documentation, mostly related to the soap. There's a few that aren't related to the soap, but generally speaking, know what goes into an O, an A, an S, a P. Okay, there's examples given, and you have to determine.
And on that, remember when I was going over how some people put like history, for instance, an A, some put it an O. Like, is there?
There's no history. There won't be a history portion
Okay.
on the test.
Oh,
I learned the history in the S.
right. That's
But in
that's where I
textbooks
thought it was.
it is in O.
The O, right? That's what I was.
So I'm not going to be picky as far as that goes. It's not on the test.
Okay.
The history is not on the test. Yes, Tim?
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought there was a miscommunication, but yeah, I thought you were talking about history of OT for a moment there when you heard what your question was, and there's an understanding, so never mind.
But history of OT will be on there. There aren't a whole lot of questions on that.
Do we need to know dates for that then? I know we didn't for the first exam, but I didn't know if we needed to get into those again.
I don't think so. No library orientation questions.
Oh, that library.
I thought you went like that.
It's bad. The standards of practice, no, you know, like the roles, and many of the questions that I have on this test have been tested already. In other words, they're already on tests that were given and quizzes. So if you've been reviewing those, you're doing good.
Any quizzes?
Ethics, there's some questions on ethics. There's some questions on the lab skills that we've had. An example of that would be like caregiver training with the bed bath, which is a previous test question. There's a case scenario of a first aid and a case scenario of like measuring ADA standard stuff. On the OT practice framework, no the interventions, no instrumental ADLs, IADLs, your basic ADL stuff. Trying to think what else. That's the only thing that's coming to me for the OT practice framework. Healthcare delivery system, remember the
collaborative, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, intradisciplinary.
Confusing stuff.
Remember the acute setting versus your primary, secondary, and tertiary settings. Remember when we did the lab for personal care, the hygiene lab? Remember the purpose, the therapeutic benefits that one can have from that. And then you know your vital signs by now. So you need to know your architectural barriers. There's gonna be math again, final. Did I say standards of practice?
Yes.
Okay. I already told you HIV, in this lecture, the normal development and reflex. Wheelchair measurements and your ambulation devices, what you might want to look and see what patient would be most that would benefit more from a walker versus a cane. You want to know how to measure for your devices. You want to know the order in which to, ascend and descend a curve. I did pull one or two questions from the communication lecture. Infection control, there's some questions on infection control. So F, code of ethics, right? Standards of practice. The core values.
Maybe
Okay.
I already answered this. With the med terms, are we similar to the quizzes, like you said? That's what we're doing. So we should be studying the med terms.
There's,
Kind of hard to break that down.
I really limited the medical terminology. Like I
Okay.
said, chapter 11 is gonna be on there. There's, I don't know, 5 to 8 questions for chapter 11. There are some other medical terminology on there.
Okay.
There are no abbreviations other than what is written in a case scenario or, in the question, in a question itself. So you won't have to know that. Yeah.
I appreciate you answering my email on that, but I was also wondering about diseases in that book. Are they gonna come up? They have a bunch of diseases every chapter.
Additional services.
And can you be more specific?
Like COPD?
Like what, no, like for example, what osteoporosis is, or like rheumatoid arthritis, diseases like that, what do they mean?
The definitions.
Some
There's
of
a
them
lot of
unrelated to word parts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
It just gives a
Parkinson's
huge
disease.
like
Yeah, part-
like
paragraph
Shabazz.
on it.
In some of the questions, like I said, there are some abbreviations written and some, terminology there. So